Holistic doctor for 30 years. I've been accused of making stuff up, but I actually just read books. And so I read them and then apply them into the practice and see if they work or not. These are some of my favorites. This is called The Cure for All Disease from Dr. Hulda. And in this book, she talks about mold from mycotoxins and chemicals in the food and bacteria, parasites, lots of parasite discussion in here. And this is a fantastic book. Let's talk a little bit about cancer. This is called Cancer as a Metabolic Disease. This is from Thomas Seyfried, and he's bringing back the information from Dr. Otto Warburg from the 1930s, where that was actually the breakthrough on the mechanism of cancer. And this is lactic acidosis. That's the name of this mechanism of cancer, and it's actually the most common mechanism of all chronic disease: fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, diabetes, heart disease, heart attacks, plaquing in the heart. And this is a 150-year-old history on lactic acidosis. And this book was printed in 1976. I spent $400 on that book. Now, there's that single most common mechanism, but what about cancer? There's actually 21 mechanisms of how cancer feeds. How to Starve Cancer by McLelland. Phenomenal book. This is the Bible. If you have cancer, if you know somebody with cancer, you got to get this book and read it. In this book, there's this map of all the ways that cancers feed. They feed off glutamine, which is a protein, glucose, which is a sugar, and then fatty acids. So all these different mechanisms can be blocked by therapy. Some of those therapies are herbs, some are drugs, maybe IV, vitamin C, stuff like that. So here's a book, The Most Common, the Most Deadly, from Jane Limb. This is about mold and mycotoxins. And I read that book when I had toxic mold. It was very helpful. Now getting back to the diet, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston. And he went through the 1930s, spent 10 years traveling around the world, went to 134 different tribes, and he looked at their traditional diet versus the diet that some had incorporated with foods of modern commerce, and the degeneration of their teeth, their health, their bones, their muscles, their emotional capacity. All that went downhill when people got away from eating meat. Most people are deficient in their diet in meat. Lastly, ravenous. Otto Warburg, The Nazis and the Search for the Cancer Diet Connection. It's my favorite book, Sam Apple. You gotta read this if you have any interest in nutrition, if you're a doctor, if you're a patient, and you have any questions about your diet. You gotta understand that sugar is the main cause of cancer, and they knew this even prior to 1916. And Warburg, being a Jew in Berlin in the 1930s, was harassed by Hitler, but Hitler secretly loved this guy, and there's the whole story behind that is pretty amazing.